I'll make a note of that one for sure, definitely. I was, you've actually just reminded me of something. I'm conscious of the time, Dr. Josef. How much time do you have left? Are you free for another 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, another 10 minutes, yeah.
Fantastic. Have you heard of the book, you've probably heard Brain Energy by Christopher Palmer?
Oh, Chris Palmer. Yep.
So I've been just looking into different areas of, well, different ways now that people are approaching how to, rectify mental health symptoms. That book there was, very enlightening about how it's a metabolic issue. And, there's a whole sort of arena opening up now called the metabolic psychiatry, I believe is the terminology. And there's a wonderful psychiatrist, Dr. Georgina Edie, you might have seen online, but she's doing fantastic work. Have you looked into this at all, around how there's a huge metabolic issue going on here and how diets can change all of this? And
Yeah, I have actually, and I've been fortunate enough to speak with Dr. Eid and Chris Palmer, both of them, about this topic. Yeah, so, I mean, let me see. There are a few things that I think are legit in psychiatry. I think a couple things. Well, let me put it this way: there's a few things that I think people should really be doing to get their mental health sorted, and one of them is definitely diet, because there's so many. I'll look at this in a few ways. So one, the whole ketogenic side of things, which I know both authors speak about, both psychiatrists, makes a lot of sense to me. Using fat as a fuel for your brain is the more efficient kind of metabolic substrate for the brain to run on. So that makes sense to me. But I think another part that's really interesting is actually the autoimmune component of diets, because I know that there are so many foods which people can be sensitive to, which can cause a wide range of problems, whether it's, thyroid problems, gut problems, autoimmune conditions, and they spill over into your mental health. And I know this for me, and I had this experience where I blew my back out doing CrossFit a long time ago, and it was miserable, and I had back pain, and I thought I would live with it for the rest of my life. And then I did one of these diets and it just went away. And this was after spending hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars trying to fix it with physiotherapy. And I just changed my diet and the inflammation went away. And, we know things like celiac disease have psychiatric components. We know, if you're in a state of chronic inflammation, that can lead to some lethargy and feeling out of it. So yeah, clearly I think what we put in our body has the ability to impact our health. In some individuals, it may be the number one thing causing problems. I don't think we're at the point where we have any tests to really know who is the one person that's going to have that huge benefit. But as an intervention, man, changing your diet is probably one of the best things that you could do. Yeah, maybe you're having some reactions to it and it's going to put you in a better place. But even if you're not having huge reactions to your food, you're going to lose weight, you're going to be in shape, you're going to put good food in your body. It's just, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer that if you're having any kind of mental health problems, that you should consider, doing things like a clean ketogenic diet. Like if you're having gut problems or autoimmune problems or rashes, and you also have some mental health things, then you must do it, because it's already showing signs that you're in a more inflammatory state, or you're having problems with your gut. And imagine if that was the stone that you turned over and that fixed you, and you didn't have to be on all these different meds and, doing all of these different things. And so I really like it. I love what they're doing. And I just think, to me, it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Absolutely. When you think about it, it made perfect sense to me. When I heard it, I'm like, of course, because the body is a series of chemical reactions. Food is chemicals. All the stuff that we consume are all chemicals, and these are having an effect on the body. And when you think about how destructive sugar is, and our bodies, don't play well with it, but we're consuming so much of it in the form of carbohydrates as well. And I'm learning all this stuff at the moment. I've been down quite a rabbit hole, Dr. Josef, for the past 5 weeks or so on this. And I've now implemented in my life, the carnivore sort of lifestyle. I'm eating a lot more meat, and already seeing the effects that it has. I've completely cut out carbohydrates and fiber and fruits and all this. And I just eat now a simple, red meat diet. And it's absolutely fantastic. What it's done I never had any mental health issues per se, but I get those symptoms where, like, you get days where you're feeling a bit down, or your emotions are a bit, flustered or whatever. But 5 weeks into this, and it's all gone. Like, it's all gone. My mind is so much more clearer, and my moods are stable. And it just feels like I'm present and grounded in reality. And whenever I go out to the extremes, whether it's emotionally or whatever, or maybe I eat something which doesn't quite agree with me, my body now is able to come back to that center point a lot more quickly and a lot more calmly. That's what it feels like, almost. And to say that, if anybody was to say, well, what's the scientific evidence about it? Well, I've looked at a few studies that have said, this is beneficial, but I don't think there needs to be a huge amount of scientific research into this. A lot of it is anecdotal, I get that, but so what if it is? If it's helping people come off, it's helping millions of people. If it's helping people come off their medications and improving their lives, so what? Let's do it. That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, I think the people who complain about the evidence base are the ones that, have a stake in, the current model, because really, in many ways, these things are harmless interventions. I know sometimes getting onto keto can have some challenges and things like that, but if you were just doing a paleo diet, a careful one, which I think is also really good, that's pretty harmless. And what the byproduct is going to be that you lose weight, and you have more energy. They're harmless interventions. I talked to Georgia Eade recently, and she says that there's actually some quite involved clinical trials going on with placebo-controlled groups. So, they may have that research soon, on what these drugs are actually doing with mental illness. And isn't that crazy, right? That we've probably had about, tens of thousands of clinical trials on drugs, and we don't have one study, one good one, on what diet is doing to mental health. It's just, yeah.
It is interesting. It does raise a number of questions.